A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a shit day in the neighborhood.
Oh, come on, Jeremy. Hey, give me right here. Give me right here. Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things. What a dominating performance last night for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The second championship in franchise history. And we can put to bed all the discussions of GOAT. Never, ever, ever again can we ever have a GOAT talk. We all know who it is. We don't need to say his name. We all bask in his glory. Fire them cannons! Ah, man.
He's every bit as insufferable as you would think.
Look, just because everything I brought up had said, this could happen, and Jeremy kept going, nope, not going to happen. Nobody's ever done it before. Okay, nobody's ever done it before, but by God, I saw pressure with 4 all night long. And that, my friends, was the ball game. Because Patrick Mahomes was rattled. He had nothing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. God almighty, that offensive line was awful last night for Kansas City.
Yeah, if you want to know, if when the Eric Bieniemy talk comes up of why did he not get a coaching job, just watch that film over and over and over again. And people will say, oh, Andy Reid calls the plays. I understand that. The adjustments come from Eric Bieniemy, and it was a fucking disaster.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly how this stat went, but I want to say they ran 67 plays last night. They left in a sixth blocker twice. That's disgustingly bad. Mm-hmm. High school coaches could do better than that. Mm-hmm. And I never in a million years thought that they would allow that to happen. Because I honestly thought they would get home a couple times, and then they'd go, we're going to change the narrative here. Yep. Throw in the sixth blocker, motion Travis Kelce, make you uncomfortable. And no, they didn't.
They never did. Never did.
I don't know that I've ever seen a player do more to their legacy to harm it than Pat Mahomes did last night.
It was pretty bad.
It was god-awful.
But, how much do you really put on old Patrick?
A lot.
Really?
A lot.
He was running for his life. He had no protection, and there were throws that he was making that those guys should have caught those balls.
Agreed. He hit Tyreek Hill in the face. Literally hit him in the face.
He hit 2 guys in the face. I don't remember who the other one was. It might have been Mecole Hardman that he hit in the face with one. Just going right through their hands. Travis Kelce dropping balls.
Yeah.
It was just rattled from start to finish.
If they look like a team that thought they were going they listen to too many people like me that said you're going to show up and you're so good offensively that they can't beat you.
Mm-hmm. Todd Bowles just did himself wonders. That he's going to get another head coaching job immediately.
He's not going to get one immediately because it's not a free job.
You know what I mean.
I think everybody's overrating the Todd Bowles thing. I really do.
What I saw last night was a perfect game plan that they did not know how to counteract it. They did everything possible.
We'll never know if they knew how to counteract it because they literally didn't change shit. It was the same from the opening drive to the end.
Yeah. It was let's just keep doing what we do, and it went from what usually looks like a well-oiled machine to just being playground ball. That's all it was. Patrick Mahomes running for his life because, his flag football blockers were not doing the greatest of jobs.
Oh, the line was an atrocity.
It was awful.
And here's the thing. I have undervalued how important Eric Fisher is. Mm-hmm. Because he is the only thing that changed from from the conference championship games to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And that line went from real good to one of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah. But it wasn't just Eric Fisher. It was the adjustment that they had to make for Eric Fisher. They had to move Rimmers over to the other side.
But they
had
made
to
all
move the
those
guard
adjustments.
out.
I know that, but they've already made all those adjustments. Mm-hmm. Rimmers has played 4 different spots on that line this year. The problem is you didn't have any. So losing Fisher, you didn't have one-on-one matchup you could win. Mm-hmm. Not one. Didn't matter who it was. Ndamukong Suh is the forgotten man here. He was getting through too.
Yeah.
He just wasn't getting home. Mm-hmm. Shaq Barrett was getting home. JPP was getting home. It was mind-boggling. It was one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen in my life. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out it was also the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life.
Brent, stop that. Stop it.
Please, God, don't tell me you're disagreeing with me. It was a fucking joke.
I mean, there were a couple of questionable calls.
A couple of questionable calls?
It didn't matter.
One of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life took a pick off the board, and you scored on the next play. Yeah, and it wasn't a questionable call. Yeah. It was a fucking disaster of a call. It was the worst call I think I've ever seen.
It was one of the greatest acting jobs Mike Evans has ever done.
I'm not saying this is sunglasses. Hard for me to see names with sunglasses. But you don't want to see what's under here because last night went aggressively for this guy. I'm not saying this is why Tampa Bay won.
Right.
I have no qualms about that.
Thank you.
I do think that the reason this game went the way it went, Tyrann Mathieu went completely off the rails.
Yes, he did.
I don't know that I've ever seen a player come that far off the rails. He's screaming in the face of the quarterback. How many times have you ever seen that in NFL history? And it was the most polarizing guy on the field. What did you think was going to happen? Mm-hmm. And then after that, Brady just starts spotting him. Where is Mathieu? He has lost his shit. Let me find him.
Yeah.
By the way, can we stop putting little itty-bitty secondary players on real big tight ends?
Didn't work out too well. Rob Gronkowski scored 2 touchdowns in the game. Man, what a night it was. And yes, Eric, I saw your comment. That's great. He didn't know if they were showing the Madden ratings or the uniform numbers for the offensive line for the Chiefs last night.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
They were taking advantage every possible way they could, and they didn't have to send extra guys to do it. It worked exactly like when I said this is the path for them to do it. Drop 7 and rush 4 and create enough pressure. You don't have to get home every time. And that's exactly what they did. The way that they were able to take Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce completely out of the game, to me, blew my mind. I didn't think that was possible, but it worked because it wouldn't have held on long. But that was the beauty of the pressure, was that you put so much pressure on Pat Mahomes. All you got to do is just kind of blanket him for a couple of seconds, and Patrick Mahomes is not going to have a window to throw to him because he's going to be running for his life. And that's exactly what happened. It was a beautiful game plan to me.
Jim Jeffries, I love his comment. Tampa wins period, but refs should never be that involved in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, I'm down.
100%.
I'm
You're
down.
right.
Yeah, the Tyrann Mathieu call in the end zone was ridiculous.
It was a joke.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
The third down play was pretty bad too.
But what? The third down play?
Kelce, to extend that drive was pretty bad as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, there were multiple.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the discrepancy in penalties, that can't happen. It can't. It's flat out. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about the game, you know full damn well that, especially in a Super Bowl, I mean that's where it's really narrowed in.
Mm-hmm.
If this was the Jets and the Chiefs, it shouldn't be this big of a discrepancy.
Yeah.
And it was. And I'm going to level with you. I'm going to say something that's going to be horribly unpopular. You want to know why this becomes such a big damn deal? Because you've made such a big damn deal about who the officials are.
Yep.
Oh, this is our first woman that's ever officiated a Super Bowl. And good for her. Fantastic for you. You were also terrible. And I'm not, I can give a damn less what gender you are. You were fucking awful. I don't care who you are. But you make this narrative about, we have to talk about who the officials are. Mm-hmm. You're giving me every reason to talk about the officials. Mm-hmm. And then when you're bad and you just completely ignore that, it gives people like me all the more reason to do it.
Yep.
Nobody will do it because, it's offensive. I don't give a damn if it offends you or not. She was bad. Mm-hmm. Point blank. That whole officiating crew was bad. But she was the back judge. So she's the one calling all of these ridiculous pass interference penalties. Mm-hmm. Just saying. Might piss you off, but it's the truth.
The flags were quite regrettable. I will say that. Mm-hmm. But, again, I don't think it had any effect on the outcome of the game. I mean, it obviously got into Tyrann Mathieu's head, and he didn't have a great game after that. They just picked on old Tyrann after that. Yeah. But to me,
and that's the thing is that when you feel like the officials are against you, which he did.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't hear him after the game, but I guarantee you,
oh yeah,
if you had hemmed him up and put a microphone in his face, he would have said, that back official had something against me. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't do shit. I saw somebody say, don't hold and grab. It's happening on both sides. I mean, it's one thing if they were calling it this way against Tampa Bay. No harm, no foul. Cool. Didn't go that way.
Right.
There was literally a full arm extension by Mike Evans. That was uncalled. He didn't catch it, so it didn't really matter. That was not even in the top 10 of blown calls in this game.
Right.
And it got to such a point that it became the number one thing we're talking about. It was the number one thing trending on Twitter for an hour during the Super Bowl. That's not good. That's not good.
Right. People forget that we also left 7 points on the board.
100%.
I just want to keep throwing. I want to throw that out there. This could have been worse. And to me, that Tyrann Mathieu call in the end zone was just the universe correcting itself on not running Leonard Fournette on that 3rd and goal.
Yeah.
Or 4th and goal at the 1 yard line. Because immediately this game started out with, 3 and out. You get the field goal, and you're thinking, oh shit, here we go. And then you score the touchdown, feel a little bit better. Then you get down there and you don't get it. Now you're feeling really uneasy because it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side, and they're going to figure something out. And even going into the 4th quarter, I was not letting myself believe that we were secure in the win. Hell, with 8 minutes to go, I kept telling my dad, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to celebrate yet. Because who knows what can happen. We've seen these things fall apart before. But last night was just an ass whooping.
It was bad. The Kansas City defense was absolutely unveiled. And if you've listened to the show for any period of time, I've told you they have the worst linebacking core in the NFL. It's bad. And what did Tom Brady pick on? Your biggest weakness. Linebackers can't keep up with Gronkowski. Linebackers can't keep up with Cameron Brate. Linebackers can't get in the hole to stop Leonard Fournette. Any of this sounding familiar? It's 100% the reason you won the game. So, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to say something that I can't believe that I'm going to say. I don't know that Kansas City wins another one.
I'm not going that far.
I don't. Here's why I say that, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, Scotty Engel said Sarah was the down judge." You're right. I said I gave the wrong. Judge, yeah, I gave the wrong name. She was still the one through the flag, and you know that because she was the one telling the official who it was on. The two most god awful calls were by her. I'm not, and I could give a damn less who it was, but you made a very big point to say that. Oh, look, the first one ever in this game. Okay. You gave me a name, and then she was there talking to the officials, and now you've given me a name to talk about. And I've said this I've said this for years. I said this when they started telling us the officials' names before the game. Don't do that. As a gambler, we know who they are.
Yep.
Because we find out who the crew is about a day in advance. And I got news for you. There's metrics on every bit of this shit. Gamblers have been using it forever.
Who was the crew chief?
Carl Sheffers.
Carl Sheffers.
Who, by the way, and you want me to give equal footing here? Carl Sheffers should never have been the official of this game. There's not a metric on fucking earth that says he was the best official in the NFL.
No,
he was not the best referee in the NFL.
His crew threw the most flags throughout the season.
Yep.
And this is the crew that they chose to officiate the Super Bowl. I agree with you. It's never a good idea to have to be talking about the officials, but in the end, I still feel like it didn't have an impact on the outcome of the game. This was just brilliant play all around, and Tom Brady has cemented himself as the greatest of all time. No one can ever deny it now. He has shown up to a new team, won a Super Bowl. And that's what it is. And like you said last night, we'll be back next year. I don't know how you're going to be back next year. You got Tampa Bay's got a lot of money to figure out for next year.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I was getting ready to say about Kansas City. Kansas City there's no money. Now you're paying Mahomes $1 billion. And so now Mahomes has to. So think about it in just terms of percentage. Mahomes' contract is going to be 20% of the salary cap for the next 10 years. Which means he can't have games like last night. I don't care about the line. The line's going to be like that. That's what happens when you have a $50 million quarterback. I'm not convinced that they can win another one. I'm not. Because that linebacking court, Tampa Bay literally unveiled the game plan of how to beat Kansas City. Because what did they do? I mean, really, let's be honest about this Todd Bowles game plan. It was so great because I've heard this for 12 straight hours now. What did Todd Bowles actually do? What was the game plan?
To blanket him in the secondary and rush the
Didn't
forward.
blanket him. Didn't blanket him at all.
He didn't?
No. He umbrella dropped them and dared him to throw deep. That's it. This was umbrella coverage the whole game. If Pat Mahomes had been patient, he could have had the underneath all day long. You just have to get away from Devin White because they did exactly what I said they were going to do. They put Devin White directly in the middle of the defense and said, keep running those crossers. Because that's what Kansas City does. And there's a very simple way to beat that. Because he will go with the first crosser. That's why he sent 2. You know how many times they did that?
No.
Not one that I saw. Every play Kansas City ran was somebody goes deep. That's what Mahomes is looking for. Mahomes was trying to hit chunk plays. Tampa Bay said, we're not going to let you do that. And I'm going to be really honest with you. You couldn't protect him long enough to do that anyway. This was a horribly called game. And whether it's Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, whoever you want to blame for this, that's totally on you. Whoever called this game had the worst game they've had in Kansas City. This was the worst called game Kansas City's had since since Pat Mahomes has been the quarterback. I can't say what happened with Alex Smith because, frankly, I didn't really give a shit about the Chiefs back then.
Well, I mean, Patrick Mahomes said it himself. I mean, this is the worst game he's ever played. And it was I believe it was the worst defeat he's ever had in college or in pros.
No, it was not.
It was not?
No, and I only know that because they got housed at Texas Tech once. And I want to say it was Iowa State just beat them to death. It was like 55-10 or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, this is his worst loss in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you. You now have the path to beating the Kansas City Chiefs. You take away the over the top because that's what Pat wants to do. That's how Pat is so good. He moves the pocket, he extends the play, and you just can't hold up that long. Well, then what if you can? What if you just drop everybody? Don't let him beat you over the top. And he will have to change how he plays. Because that's not what he does. I'll be honest with you. You're not going to like what I'm getting ready to say.
Okay.
Obviously, Brady won MVP.
Yes.
I don't think he should have.
Who do you think it should have been?
Devin White. And it wasn't close. To me, it wasn't even close. Devin White is why you won this game. Because they couldn't figure it out. Devin White did such a good job of eye discipline and keeping Mahomes off guard. I mean, there were open things. The problem is that by the time Mahomes got to the back end of his drop, by the time he got to the bottom of the drop, there was somebody directly in his face. So what Devin White had to do is keep that check down option not an option. And he did a masterful job of it. Yeah, Travis Kelce caught some balls. Yeah, there were, Shaq Barrett, and I'll be honest with you, Stephen Towle said Shaq Barrett was MVP to me. I'm not going to lie. I think Shaq Barrett was so good because of Devin White. But I wouldn't have been mad if it was Shaq Barrett, to be honest with you.
Right.
It really bothered me that it was Tom Brady.
You couldn't pick anybody else. You could. I mean, the guy threw 8 incompletions the entire game. Threw 3 touchdown passes. No quarterback is ever going to not win the Super Bowl MVP with those kinds of stats. Now, as a guy who loves defense and loves every guy that you just said, I'm okay. Make your argument. I will gladly entertain it because, and here's the thing: we're sitting late in the game, and it's right around that same time, right around 8 minutes left in the game, and I'm not ready to give it up. I'm thinking something could happen here. With a miracle could be in the works with Patrick Mahomes. And then my dad looks at me and goes, we still haven't scored a defensive touchdown yet. And I thought, this will be the way. And I want it to be Devin White. When Devin White ended up with the interception at the end of the game, it just kind of padded his stats to let you know what a force that kid was the entire game. I mean, he had, what was it, 12 tackles, 2 for a loss?
Something like that.
Yeah, 12 total tackles, 8 solo, 2 tackles for a loss,
and a pass
and a pass deflected. You cannot. I mean, you cannot argue with that. And the fact that the pass rush worked so well. I mean, Shaq Barrett got pressure on 20% of his rushes. Yeah. He pressured the quarterback 20% of the time last night. It was unbelievable. And they had 29 pressures on Patrick Mahomes, got home twice, and 27 of those came with 4 guys.
Hey, and so there's 2 things that I need to comment on from the comments. Alexander said I smacked my bets out of the park. Yes, so did I. Thanks, Under. I really love hedging things with things I'm real confident about, and I told you the Under a lot.
You did. Yes, you did.
The other thing is, I would be remiss if I didn't point this out because he just commented in the comments. Congratulations, Joshua Kovac, our Game Squares winner yesterday. Message me after the show. I will. I got to get an address for you to send your prize to.
Feels good to be the champ, doesn't it, bud?
We had 4 winners. Scott Cutshaw won at halftime.
Right.
So he won $100. Joshua Kovac won $250. And Joshua Kovac was one of our top fans. So
nice.
Actually the square that won for him was his top fan bonus extra square.
Nice.
We rewarded our top fans. Facebook told them to me, I think you're all top fans. I love you all. But Facebook has an algorithm that tells me who interacts the most.
Right.
And
yeah.
Congratulations, Joshua Kovac. To be honest with you, when I posted that he won, I went back and looked at that this morning. I am stunned I spelled that right. Mm-hmm. Because by the time I posted that, Beers had taken over.
It had gotten aggressive.
It was no longer me that was commenting. It was
Anheuser-Busch. Yeah. It was definitely one for the ages. For me, I understand that the casual fan watching that game was a little upset at the way that went down because it wasn't what you were expecting. We were expecting to see an offensive show from Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and they let you down. And I'm sorry about that because I wanted it too. Yeah. I wanted a great game. I said on this program,
we did not get a great game.
We did not get a great game. This was total domination from start to finish. Yeah. This was 0 adjustments from the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Andy Reid. I love the guy to death, but at some point, you got to make those adjustments, and they never got made.
Nope. I mean, there's a lot of the blame here falls on Andy Reid. Nobody wants to say it because he's the nicest guy in the fucking world.
Well, and
I know exactly.
Yeah, everybody wants to. I mean, you got to bring it up. It happened the night before they left for the Super Bowl that his son gets in a car accident, a multi-car crash involving a drunk driver. I'm still trying to figure out it. I guess it might have been him, but the other driver might have been drunk too.
All I can tell you is what was reported.
Right.
There were 2 stranded cars on the side of the road. One of them had a 5-year-old in the back seat. Britt Reed allegedly hit them and had the strong odor of alcohol in his breath. Mm-hmm. That's all I know. Mm-hmm. Nothing else has been reported. It's a police investigation. We won't know until they.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, I don't know what to say.
And there's there's a 5-year-old girl in critical condition.
Yep.
And it's one of the saddest stories you will ever hear.
And it's awful.
But is it one of those things that, they asked Andy Reid about it last night, and I mean, because you have to ask that question. And Andy said, we put the game plan a week ahead of time.
Yeah.
Was I distracted? Absolutely. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
But we had put the game plan, regarding the game plan and what happened last night, it didn't have any effect. And I've got to believe that. Now, was Andy completely there mentally on the sidelines at the moment? Probably not.
I disagree.
Nobody could be.
I disagrry.
Really?
You're a professional.
Yeah.
It compartmentalized. Andy Reid's one of the greatest coaches that ever lived.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think for 60 minutes that was. I'm not gonna say he didn't think about it, but I don't think that had any effect on the game.
Right.
You know what? Here's what I think happened. I think Kansas City thought they were going to win this game by getting off the bus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I really do. I think they watched the tape on Tampa Bay's defense. They pretty well knew what they were going to do, and they underestimated the fact that with 4 guys they could get home. I'll be honest with you. I watched the same tape. I said the exact same thing.
Yep.
I said nobody has gotten home with 4 on this team since Pat Mahomes has been the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Did I undervalue how important it was to not have Eric Fisher? Probably.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you got to give the credit to Shaq Barrett. You got to give the credit to Jason Pierre-Paul, Ndamukong Suh, everybody that played along that defensive line, everybody that played on that defense, and begrudgingly, I have to give credit to Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
Oh, that got hurt.
You do?
Who screwed up 3 years of my life, thanks to or more. He was actually our coach longer.
And don't worry, he's going to screw up 3 more years of somebody else's life because he's going to get a head coaching job out of this. I'm fairly certain. I think the 2 guys that benefited the most from last night were him and Byron Leftwich.
I would agree with that.
Just by proxy.
And I'll be honest with you, I think Byron Leftwich is the one that I give more credit to. Mm-hmm. You got to understand something. Byron Leftwich is, how long has he been coordinator? 2 years?
3 years.
I think this was his second year.
Maybe.
You got to understand, this is a guy that was a player. It's a known name as a player. Mm-hmm. And there's some cred that comes with that. Mm-hmm. This is still the greatest quarterback that ever lived. And you, as a very young coordinator, very young coach in this league, were able to corral Tom Brady enough to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Because Tom's a very, very vocal, very loud personality. If you don't believe that, just look at the fact he called Tyrann Mathieu a bitch on national television last night. This is a big personality.
Yeah.
And the fact that Byron Leftwich was able to command the respect and command the room enough for this offense to come together as it did, because it was not good. Mm-hmm. This offense was not great in the start of the year. And I give a lot of that credit to Byron Leftwich.
Yeah. We talked about it ad nauseum at the beginning of the year. Is Tampa ever going to be able to put it together? Because I just felt like Tampa just didn't look like a team that felt comfortable in that offense. And, it really did all change after the bye week. You lost to Kansas City, you come in for the bye week, and it was Katie bar the door from there. Didn't look back, didn't lose another fucking game.
Did you just say Katie bar the door?
I did.
What the fuck does that mean? Who's Katie?
Who is this Katie you speak of?
I think it's a saying from like a cowboy movie. Katie bar the door.
Okay.
Because the enemy is at the gates, so to speak.
Aha.
I mean, they were unbelievable down the stretch, and yeah, I'll give Byron Leftwich a lot of credit. It all started.
I think Byron Leftwich deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, it all started from the day that Tom Brady broke into somebody else's house.
Oh yeah, trying to get his play.
Yeah, when they first signed him, and he went to the wrong goddamn house, looking for Byron Leftwich because he was going to go get his playbook.
Yeah,
and they were, it's just one of those things. It was the Disney ending. To me, this proved,
which I hate.
I know you hate it, but it's true. A guy comes into a franchise that is downtrodden and says, "You got weapons, and I can make you a champion." And from day one, everybody believed it. The first 12 weeks were pretty rocky, but then it all came together at the end. And we've got this one guy telling us, "We can do this. I have been here before. I have won 6 rings, and this is a championship team." And he made everybody believe it. And the defense stepped up at the end, and they were the reason that they dominated this Super Bowl. It's an absolutely phenomenal story among everything else. What?
Your wife's listening and said, "Who's Katie?"
My wife's jealous now. Fuck Katie. Who's Katie?
Who's Katie, and why did she bar the door? Side note, what the fuck does bar the door mean?
And to answer the question from earlier in the comics, I don't know if it was Alex Sander that said it. No, Mama Tank did not do a touchdown dance. Mama Tank does not do football. The girls sat out last night. It was me and my dad, my uncle, and Joe and Josh, and we all got to sit down, 3 generations of Tampa Bay fans, just to enjoy that moment together. Sorry, I'm breaking up because it's a moment that you'll never get back.
Yeah, it's a moment I'll never have. Keep rubbing it in.
No, come on, man, come on. I wish good for everybody. Joshua looked at me yesterday and he said, I said, "Are you a Tampa Bay fan now?" Because everything changed. He's a Carolina Panthers fan, and everything changed throughout the night. He started saying "we" a lot, and I looked at him and I said, "Are you really jumping ship to be a Bucs fan?" And he said, "No, I'm a Panthers fan, and hopefully we'll be there next year." And I said, "I really hope you are. I hope you're here next year." Problem is, we're the kings of the division. And you're gonna, and that's the thing. Looking toward next year, I'm still surprised the Green Bay Packers are the favorite in the NFC.
Depends on what book you're looking at. Tampa Bay is going to get a bump today.
It's last night. It came out. It was Chiefs 11-2 odds, Packers 9-1, Bucks 11-1, and then you had the Ravens and the Bills behind them at 12-1.
I think you're going to get a lot of push on Tampa Bay. I'm going to keep saying this until I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
I did it on Bill Belichick, and I was right. I will keep saying it on Tom Brady. At some point, your body's going to let you down.
Yep.
Father Time's undefeated.
Yep.
I cannot throw money at Tampa Bay again. But I said that last year, and I was wrong.
Yes, you were.
So,
But I mean, how long can it go on? I
think
the
at
question.
best you got one more year.
Oh, absolutely. At least one more year. And
I think you only have one more year.
Many Tampa Bay dynasty, Jonathan.
And
Webb
here's the
says.
thing. You know what last night thoroughly made me appreciate? And hate is probably a much better word. But
Right.
do you realize how impressive it is that New England won 6 of these in, 18 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you understand how unbelievably impressive that is? Mm-hmm. I mean, because last night, every Kansas City deficiency was on display. Can't run. They're god-awful run the ball. Can we admit Jeremy was right on Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Ding.
Little mini bowling ball himself. Just think about how bad do you think Kansas City looks at that? It looks at Edwards-Helaire and goes, well, we could have had Jonathan Taylor, but we didn't do that.
It's a little bit of a miscalculation. But I don't feel like that. I mean, well, I don't know. In hindsight, maybe that did cost him a Super Bowl. Because if you'd have been able to run the ball last night, it would have been able to give you a little bit,
Well, I mean,
pull
that's
that
the thing.
pressure back. You couldn't do it.
Well, that's the thing. And everybody's going to talk about, they got home with 4 guys.
Yep.
Here's what you really need to be talking about. They stopped the run with 4 guys, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they made Clyde Edwards-Helaire look like he looked like a fringe NFL player. This is the guy that was a first-round pick a year ago. Now, granted, you've had your resident NFL draft analyst, this guy, trying to tell you that, no, he's not what you think he is, for a long time.
Yeah.
By the way, how many plays did Le'Veon Bell play last night?
0.
0? Really?
0.
Wow. I was glad that LaShawn McCoy actually got into the game at one point. He finally got to play in a Super Bowl. Because remember, he was a scratch last year for Kansas City. Le'Veon Bell has won back-to-back Super Bowls. That should be the.
I
today.
wanted LaShawn to be a healthy scratch 2 years in a row and win back-to-back Super Bowls. That would be a stat I would tell for the rest of my life.
Right.
One guy has won back-to-back Super Bowls and played 0 plays in either of them.
Right. Stephen Tao, you're right there with us, bud. We're locked in.
Yeah, we're locked in.
He commented as soon as we said it. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a hard time keeping this team together. I mean, first off, Tampa's not going to stay together.
You're going to lose Chris Godwin.
We're going to lose one of these guys. We're going to lose Shaq Barrett. We're going to lose Chris Godwin. One of the two has to go. You don't have the money to keep them both.
Nope.
And I think the Shaq Barrett route is proof, of what just happened in the Super Bowl. You need to keep this defense together. That's got to be the number one priority. I don't give a shit. Look at New England. Look at what Tom Brady did in New England. It didn't matter who his damn receivers were.
Well, you have a ready-made replacement to Godwin.
Tyler Johnson. Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Scotty.
And I think, Scotty Miller. I think Chris Godwin's going to wind up being a Jet. I've said that. It's either Chris Godwin or Allen Robinson. One of the two of them is going to end up a Jet.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I finally heard somebody regurgitate what I've been saying on this show for a month, and I have to give him credit. Adam Schefter finally came to my way of thinking. Did you hear him on the pregame yesterday? Talking about the buyer's market and free agency?
Who?
Adam Schefter.
No.
Yeah. He was basically directly commenting what I've been saying for a month. These teams that have money are going to be able to dictate the market. It's looking like the cap's going to come in at like 182, 181, 182, somewhere in there, which is about 6 to 7 million more than we thought it was going to be. But it doesn't really change anything. You've got 3 teams that have a lot of money, and those teams are going to be able to do anything they want to.
I agree.
Jets are one of them.
Buyer's market, baby.
I don't know what to imagine from because this is it happened this year. We saw once again, guys will take a pay cut. They will do whatever they have to play with Tom Brady and win a Super Bowl. So I don't know what this roster could look like next year. I imagine Antonio Brown will probably be re-signed.
Yeah, because I don't think he's.
I don't think there's a market.
I don't either. I think he's such a head case that getting away from Tom is scary.
Right. But it would be the smartest thing that he could do. Is to
he'll
stay
get
with
more.
Tom.
Well, depends. Are you after the money, or are you after, targets?
I just don't know that
after,
there's going to be that much money out there for him.
I mean, I think you're going to have that problem with a lot of guys. Mm-hmm. This is one of the best free agent receiver classes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You're talking about Kenny Golladay could be the 4th best receiver in this class.
Right.
That's insane.
It is.
So,
what is it?
I'm looking forward
Kenny
to the
Golladay,
offseason.
Chris Godwin,
Allen Robinson.
Who's the
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller.
And there's more. And there are more guys out there too. This is going to be a fun offseason. I'm really sad that this is the last day that we have to talk about actual on the field product, and the on the field product sucked a lot. It sucked a bunch. But that's going to give us the opportunity to do more fun things on the show. I enjoyed the Squares thing a lot. It was kind of a pain in the ass, but I learned a lot from it. I did wonder, why are there services out there that you can pay $60 and they'll run your contest for you? Who would pay that? Get it now.
Get it now.
I understand. Those people are underpaid, and they're wonderful. Because there's a lot of logistics that go into that shit that I didn't know anything about.
Right.
But we are going to do a March Madness tournament. If you didn't get into the Squares, and you were one of the people that reached out to me yesterday, I've already put your name as an automatic qualifier into the March Madness tournament. I am really looking forward to this one. We'll announce more about that as it gets closer. But yeah, and I'm glad we have the ability to do things like that. The Squares thing was fun.
Yeah.
You know what else I learned? Bigger board. Put a bigger graphic, because it is very hard to read some of your names in little teeny tiny print. Especially on my phone.
You didn't have the the full resolution version that you could see?
I did, but it was on my phone, and it was still whittle.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're happy everybody participated in the Squares contest. I had nothing to do with it. I'm glad he did, because yesterday I was Jason Alexander sweatshirt. I was just, believe it or not, I'm walking on air just all day long.
With a wing and a prayer,
right.
Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me.
Just woke up in the morning, had French toast for breakfast. It was just a glorious day. Got me a little cat nap in about 1 o'clock. Slept for a couple hours.
Is that what you were doing when I called you yesterday?
Yeah.
Heard.
Yeah.
Because you answered the phone like an alien from Roswell had called you. It took you 30 seconds to say a word.
Right.
They're like, I think I had you connected to the No, I think you were fucking asleep.
No, it was. I had my phone connected to the speaker, and I kept going, hello, 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 and then I could hear you from the kitchen, just barely. Is anybody there?
Hello. Yeah, Jonathan Welch has really been hammering me for Jeremy's Live in 5. Because apparently I'm never live in 5. I'm not good with times. And yesterday was kind of difficult because we didn't have anybody to push buttons.
Right.
That was just me. I can do all of those things. It's a lot to keep track of.
I missed it. What happened?
So the graphics always say we're live in 5.
Oh, yeah.
We're never live in 5. Justin Harvey said, joining late, is there a reason I'm wearing sunglasses inside? Yes. Yes, there is.
Hungover Jeremy.
Yep. Because Anheuser-Busch did a number on me last night. So.
Tom Brady won a Super Bowl last night. That's why Jeremy's wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. Fact.
I can't wait to get into the into all of the off-season stuff. Obviously, I'm still glowing over the Buccaneers winning their second title last night. What do you think is going to happen with Carson Wentz? We got this never stops. Eve of the Super Bowl, we're talking about a possible trade with the Chicago Bears, are they really going to trade Carson Wentz to the Chicago Bears for Nick Foles?
I'm going to level. I've reached out to several of the people that I talk to and trust in the NFL.
Yeah.
That have told me that's completely a narrative put out by fans. This is not real life.
Okay.
And here's the thing. You got to think about this. There's no connection to Nick Sirianni to Nick Foles.
Yeah.
This is a completely different offense. I don't buy it. I really don't. I've said it to the Indianapolis Colts the whole time. I'm going to continue to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Colts. That's if Carson Wentz is going to be dealt, that's who I think he's dealt to because it makes the most sense. You got Frank Reich there. There is a connection. He has been good with Frank Reich.
Right.
And the Colts have money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other part of the Bears thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so you get rid of Foles and you bring in, so you trade one for the other.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense to me. You're still, and above all else, what exactly are you going to give them? Oh, a Tariq Cohen. Really? That you really? Okay. I hear a lot of these. I shouldn't say always because sometimes they do come to fruition.
Right.
If he's traded to the Bears today, hey, we were all wrong. But when I send out texts to sources and they just laugh, if I ever get LOL back, I'm like, oh, that one's bullshit.
Yeah.
We roll right past that guy.
So that's what you got back on the Carson Wentz.
No, that's not directly what I got back on that one is we can't substantiate it.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody is telling us that this is accurate. So that doesn't mean it's not. You could just they could be keeping it close to the vest. But now here's what this is going to sound a little egotistical and sorry. My sources, several of them work for teams or work directly with teams. They're either beat writers. I've got a scout.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't know, I really question how some random fan knows.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he cleans Howie Roseman's pool, then I don't really know how you found this out, and none of us do. And usually that bears itself out.
Right.
Adam Black asked me, what am I hearing on Deshaun Watson? It hasn't changed. It is still Jets, Dolphins. And here's the thing. The Texans are dedicated to we are not going to trade Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
That's very easy for you to say in February because you can't. You got a month here before you can actually do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Rams and Lions buck the trend. That's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Eagles are getting ready to do the same thing. That's pretty rare. So they think that if they kick this can down the road, eventually Watson will, mend fences and he'll like David Culley and Steve Smith vehemently disagrees with that. But do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No.
David Culley was somehow him and Steve Smith were in the same place at the same time.
Yes, in Baltimore.
Is it Baltimore?
I get he was the passing coordinator. For
Yeah, but
Baltimore.
he was only there for a year. He's been in a bunch of different
okay.
places. Somehow Steve Smith Sr. had some very pointed things to say about David Culley. I don't know where they interacted, but
Right.
But to answer the question that I was asked, everything I'm hearing on Watson's the same thing. The Houston wants to be able to add a top tier talent this year. Mm-hmm. Giving them 5 picks that line up for the next 5 years, that's not going to do anything for them. They know this fan base is in flux. Mm-hmm. Because right now you're getting ready to lose probably the 2 best players in franchise history at the same time.
Yeah.
So you have to get something back that you can put on the field and go, hey, look, this is what we did.
Right.
And whether it's Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, or I think if they fall in love with a quarterback, they'll make a deal like that, and it'll be with the Jets. I don't want that to happen. Just so we're clear,
You don't want Deshaun Watson?
Not for what it's going to cost. I don't.
I feel like that's an error in judgment.
I don't. So you say it's an error in judgment?
But you would rather have what? You would rather go with Zach Wilson?
No, I don't want to draft a quarterback this year. I want to go with Sam Darnold. I want to go another year with Sam Darnold. I want to give him legitimate weapons. You know what Sam Darnold's not going to cost you? $40 million a year.
Right.
I know that definitively. And right now, with salary cap dipping, it is going to be really hard to have a quarterback that makes that much money. Now, I will say this. A lot of the money with Deshaun Watson stays with
Houston.
Sorry, I was reading the comment.
Yeah. With Houston.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was just saying. I got
a lot of the money stays with Houston.
Part of the guaranteed money stays with Houston.
Right.
So he will be quote unquote of value. Now the value is $30 million. And I look at a team like the Jets and go, okay, well you got 10 wrapped up in Sam. And all right, so you're going to deal that. You're going to get a 1, so you'll have one back into the first round pick to build around Watson. I just don't see how that's that much better. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a guy that, first of all, holds on to the ball a long time. And you're going to put him behind a line that has gotten Sam Darnold killed. So I think the more logical spot for Deshaun Watson's Miami. It makes all the sense in the world. You got one of the best young lines in the league. Mm-hmm. You don't need all of that draft capital. The Jets need that draft capital. You're not going to build a winner around Deshaun Watson at this point with the Jets if you give away all your draft capital.
Right.
So that one's more a reading of the tea leaves and me going, please don't do what I think you're about to do.
And then
and there's part of me that wants you to, because I've never had a quarterback in my life that I could really love and squeeze and call Jordan. But I also don't want to see our $30 million quarterback get killed behind what is a average at best offensive line.
Yeah. Speaking of having quarterbacks you can hold and love and squeeze as your own, can Keyshawn Johnson? I love you, buddy, but you got to give up this whole Tom Brady's not the greatest quarterback in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Thank you.
That's the dumbest thing. We're friends with one of them. And we even say, hell, I would wager Brad would say it.
Right. You can't put him on the level of Jameis Winston just yet. Fuck off.
What?
Whoa. He said that about Jameis. I thought he was being
because the numbers aren't there.
Brad.
Because the numbers aren't there.
Oh, good Lord.
He doesn't have the statistical numbers to be the greatest quarterback in a franchise 1 year in. He didn't have to throw a single pass for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be their best quarterback ever.
Correct.
I mean, Jameis Winston, the stats were the only reason that he got there.
Yeah.
I mean, I give the guy credit for throwing for 5,000 yards in the season and blah, 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 blah. It was okay for 4 years. I'm glad that experiment's over, and we moved on to better pastures. It's one of the dumbest takes that I've heard all day
Well,
long.
I mean, and that's one of the things that it's what we do. It's the name of our game. Is we say what you want to hear, and then we'll throw in a spicy every once in a while.
Right.
We pride ourselves on not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason that I guarantee you I'm the only person that makes the comment about the officiating crew last night that I did. Mm-hmm. And it will piss people off, but it's the damn truth. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie to you. I said that for 3 hours last night. You giving me the name of the official is a bad idea because I start looking for them. And when things go awry and I see that same face multiple times, you're asking for it. You did this to you.
Right. We were talking about the free agent wide receiver class.
It's real good.
We forgot to mention Juju Smith-Schuster.
I didn't forget to mention that.
We forgot to mention...
I can't, Juju's one of those... I'm afraid that he's like Beetlejuice, and if I say his name too many times, he'll be wearing that helmet right there. That's what I'm afraid of.
I see.
Yeah,
I see what it is.
Yeah, I don't understand TikTok, and I really don't want to have to start an account to follow my new star wide receiver.
And Corey Davis. Corey Davis is the other name.
Corey Davis is going to be a weird... That's going to be a case study in how much does your scouting evaluation matter? Mm-hmm. How much does your does what you thought on him coming out matter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because his tape in Tennessee has been horribly inconsistent. Mm-hmm. I love Corey Davis in Baltimore. I swear, people will call me out of my mind. I love Corey Davis in Baltimore.
No,
he's a really good blocking wide receiver. Underrated.
I'd like to see Curtis Samuel end up in that offense.
In Baltimore?
Yeah.
He can't block. That's just more of the same shit. Mm-hmm. You already have that. His name's Willie Snead. Now, Willie Snead's not as electric as Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel's going to wind up in Washington, you mark my words.
Uh-huh.
Washington's going to give him entirely too much money.
That makes sense.
Uh-huh. I know it does.
That makes sense with Ron Rivera.
Uh-huh.
But it is a very loaded class. And you got a lot of guys that are going to change teams this year.
This offseason is going to be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to have stuff to talk about. We're going to do some non-sporty things because we can.
We haven't discussed the show last night. The Super Bowl as a show.
Oh,
what did you
sucked?
What really? All of it? You weren't.
The Weeknd was awful.
The Weeknd was not great.
The Weeknd was awful. He spent $7 million of his own dollars on that, and I don't know for what.
The set was incredible.
The set was fine.
I thought the visuals were
the Funhouse
excellent.
thing. First of all, you have a litany of drunk people, and you're gonna spin them around a bunch of times. What sense did that make? I was literally sitting on my couch going,
Right.
"Can we turn this off?"
It was a little overbearing. Thought possible seizures could be being had across the country.
You have a lot of drunk people, and so we're gonna spin the screen around a bunch of times.
The guys with the bandages on their faces, that was odd.
I don't understand. I didn't understand it.
Apparently, it was
you know what
part
I've
of
learned
his,
about me?
Like that was his album cover or something for his latest release.
I don't. You know what I've learned about me? The older I get, I don't understand artistic things. I just don't. Oh, look, it's such a beautiful artistic show. I don't care. I like very simple things, okay? I like football. I like, I was going to say something really fucked up right there, but I do. I'm proud of me.
Good job. Good job.
I like basic things.
Yeah.
I don't. If I have to think about it, I'm probably out. That's the reason I don't watch silent films. That's the reason I don't watch movies in other languages.
Right.
I don't want to think that freaking hard. Just entertainment. And the bad thing, I like the vast majority of the Weeknd's music.
Mm-hmm.
If it had been more about the music and less about spinning me around, I might have enjoyed it.
I also couldn't hear it all that well. I don't know if that was everybody. Did you have trouble hearing the lyrics, or was it just the television that I was watching?
It was the television.
Because it seemed like the
dub
music
was awful.
The music was way overpowering. The lyrics, I couldn't really tell what song he was
Well, they
singing.
dubbed it. He wasn't actually singing, and the dub was terrible. His lips did not line up with that, but like 3 times.
I
can't emphasize this enough. I like the vast majority of his music. One of the songs he did last night is one of my favorite songs of the last 5 years.
I Can't Feel My Face?
No, that one sucks. I hate that song. And that gets stuck in my head and it makes me angry.
It is catchy. The Blinded Lights? Or
No,
whatever?
the 5:30. Somebody knows. Somebody knows what that song's called.
No.
Yeah, I like that song a lot. It's got a real good beat. And you know what really liked it? My surround sound.
Nice.
If I had neighbors real close to my house, they would have been pissed. Because I cranked that bitch up to about 148 when that song came on.
Well, I had to sit here with my kids who were really, in tune with it because it was, live and colorful and they were watching, and then they turned to me and goes, "Oh, he sings that song? Oh, he sings that song?" They have no idea who he is, but they have heard his music. And then I got my dad sitting next to me going, "I guess the Steve Miller Band was busy, huh?"
That would have been great.
Yeah, Dad, because everybody wants to hear big old jet airliner at the 2021 Super Bowl.
Big old jet airliner.
See? He knows it.
That's the only word. That's the only word in that song. I do want to start the Luke Combs campaign for the halftime show 2022.
Yes.
I firmly believe we should champion that cause.
I think he's there.
I think we should champion that cause. I'm all in on this. I am. I think it's a great idea. We have a lot of voice, and I'm a big fan of it.
All right.
If for nothing else, we can annoy you about it until they pick somebody else.
Yeah. I thought the run up to it was fantastic. The national anthem I thought was great with Eric Church, and I'm sorry I blanked on her name.
Don't.
She was phenomenal. I loved it. I thought it was a great rendition, and Vegas was happy last night that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won, because especially at those books where 82% of the money was on Kansas City,
yeah, they
lost their ass on the national anthem.
Well, they recouped a little bit of what they lost with the futures on Tampa Bay. My God, if you got Tampa Bay at 60-1 before they signed Brady.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wish I'd have thought of that.
Oh, God.
Didn't think of it, but I thought the run up to it was great. The show itself was great. I didn't pay attention to any of the commercials. The Jason Alexander sweatshirt, I think, was the only one that really stuck out to
Shaggy
me.
for the win was pretty. Shaggy was pretty good.
Shaggy, yeah.
I didn't see not one commercial. I even forgot the Miller Lite Michelob Ultra one.
Right.
I forgot all about it.
Right.
And I had it copy and pasted in my phone, but I didn't see it.
And I would be remiss if I did not holler out. Yes, yesterday I was wearing my white number 47 jersey. John Lynch getting into the Hall of Fame just made the weekend a little bit more special down there in Tampa.
Congratulations, Alan Faneca.
Alan
former Jet.
Faneca. Yep.
By the way, you're not going to give me credit on this, but
Okay.
You know who got all 5 right when we talked about who was going to get it?
Was that you? Nice.
That was me.
Good job. We all knew Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson were all going to get in on this ballot. They were no doubt first ballot Hall of Famers. Jesus Christ, if I see one more. Calvin Johnson didn't deserve to be in on the first ballot. I'm going to scream. Are you guys really serious with that? Oh, he only played 8 years. I don't give a shit.
That's insanity to me. Kevin Vick said Sam Mills shafted again. I think Sam Mills is going to get in like Drew Pearson did.
Yes, he will be on the Veterans Committee.
But I mean, the thing is, we talked about this on the ESPN show. There's so many first ballot Hall of Famers coming up. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you know who's on it next year?
I haven't even looked.
DeMarcus Ware.
Okay.
Easy, no doubt, first ballot.
Yeah.
No doubt. I can't remember. There were 2 of them that I went, yep, those 2 are getting in automatically. Tony Romo is on the ballot for the first time next year. He is not getting in. Can we stop doing that? Stop
Ever?
it.
Ever?
Might get in as a broadcaster.
Okay.
He's real good.
He is.
He is a real good broadcaster.
He is phenomenal as a broadcaster.
Zach Thomas, that's another one that's going to get in. I'll guarantee you he gets in with the Veteran Committee.
Yeah.
He will be in that top 15 until he's off the ballot.
No, you're not gonna. You know, I've seen over and over and over again people talk about
Steve Smith.
Zach-
That was the other one.
Zach Thomas is getting left out of the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, and Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson's on there.
Right.
Andre Johnson, Steve Smith. There's 3 first ballot Hall of Famers next year.
Yep.
Because
Steve
I do
Smith.
think Steve Smith will get in.
Yep. Vince Wilfork.
I don't know. He'll get in eventually.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
He's
at
not a
some
first
point.
ballot guy though.
No.
And you got to remember, you still have Jared Allen, who, by the way, I tried to tell you wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was
And
first
I'm
ballot.
fine with that. You know, to me, it was probably. I bet the vote was pretty close.
I think he finished 7th from what I was told.
Okay. I figured he'd be close.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know. Eventually that comes out, but I haven't seen it. I was told he finished 7th.
Right. Robert Mathis.
We were hoping this was going to happen at some point.
What?
Yeah.
What's
ladies
going
and
on?
gentlemen.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things. Yes, sir. Ronnie George.
It's Superman.
Come
the
on,
Bucks
brother.
fan.
Through, buddy, going through.
Come on through. Just take your spot right
Yeah,
here to the
it's-
stage.
Yeah, there he is, guys.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a good day.
Yes.
It's Superman, the Bucks fan.
Oh,
We didn't know if you were going to make it.
Oh, I was gonna make it happen.
How intense did it get at your house last night?
It was scary. It was a bunch of Bucks fans, probably like 20, 30 Bucks fans just scream. And it wasn't like for sure until that interception to Levante David at the end zone
Right.
where we lost our minds. We lost our minds.
I
it
do
was-
remember Ron was talking to me at some point last night through text, and that wasn't me. I had to catch up on that conversation that I was loosely a part of.
Right.
To go back and read those texts because I didn't remember seeing them.
Look, just sitting there, it was like a dream come true, Ron. We had no idea. I mean, I honestly had no idea to expect what I saw last night, but I knew they had it in them.
I knew that O-line was gonna be the game. Eric Fisher.
Eric
Bye
Fisher.
bye.
That was that. I undervalued it. I was wrong, but I did get the under right. Thank God for the under. The under probably saved my ass. I don't know how much because I haven't really looked yet, but
It's going to be a fun day. We're going to keep it going this afternoon on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400.
hold on before you get us out of here.
Yep.
Everybody do me a favor. If you're watching this, as the offseason progresses, we're going to try to shade away from Facebook and move to YouTube. YouTube allows me to do much more fun things. I can't say hardly shit on Facebook. So go subscribe to our YouTube page. I'll put the link is actually in the description of this video. It's YouTube the Sportsocracy. If you type in the Sportsocracy, you'll see our faces.
That's right.
Just hit the little bell, notifications. We're going to try to move that way.
Yep. Easy to find the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Like it, share it, and follow it. It's a joyous day in the neighborhood. Fire those cannons. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are world champions once again. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We'll see you on
He's Ron
ESPN
George.
Asheville this afternoon. He's Ron George. Have a great day.